Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Karibuni tena kwa channel yetu My Mastery Tutor, na kama kawaida leo tunafanya paper 2. Tunaanza na paper 2 section 1. Ukiangalia hii ndio KCSE yetu, NEC KCSE paper 2. So kama kawaida yetu tutafanya hii paper, tamam. Tunaanza na question 1. Acha tubadilishe fonts kidogo. Now question 1, the first 3 terms of an arithmetic progression are, wacha ni chore line, 8 minus x, and you also have 2x, and you also have 3x plus 2. Tamam. So umeulizwa find the value of x and hence the common difference of the AP. So if this is an arithmetic progression, so the general rule should be there, where a is your first term, a ni 8 minus x, your first term is 8 minus x. Your d is given by this way. Your d, if you take the second minus the first, itakupa your common difference, tamam, which is 2x. Okay, open up the bracket, minus 8 plus x, kwa sababu 8 minus x ni kitu kimoja. So collect like terms, 2x and x. If you add them up, gives you 3x. So 3x minus 8. So that's one way of finding d. The other way of finding d, which is like saying d2, is either you take this third minus the second. Ile ya kwanza umechukua ile second term minus the first term. But if you want to find another way of finding d, then it's usually the third, which is 3x plus 2 minus the second one, in which itakupa d2, which is 3x minus 2x, is basically just x. If you collect the like terms, x plus 2. So this is d1 and this is d2. Zote ni common difference, which so therefore d1 equal to d2, and therefore d1 is equal to d2. So you just take 3x minus 8 equal to x plus 2. Utazi equate, collect like terms, ipeleke hapa, ilete hapa. So hii inakuwa 3x minus x, ile ingine inakuwa 8 plus 2. Tamam, so hii itakuwa 2x equal to 10. Now if you divide it by 2, so in which I'm supposed to divide it by 2, divide by 2, therefore x equals to 5. So basically umpata the value of x, but now remember that that is not the answer for common difference. Let's find the value of x, which we found it. Common difference, you can take d1 or d2, whichever the case. So let's take d1, tunasema ni 3x minus 8. So 3 times 5 minus 8, which is 3 times 5 ni 15. So 15 minus 8 gives you 7. And therefore, and your common difference, or d, is equal to 7. So this is your answer as well. So let's go to the second question. Assalamu alaikum tena. Question 2. Question 2, the temperature in a room was measured as 20 degrees Celsius in the morning and 25 degrees Celsius in the afternoon. The difference in the temperature of the room was calculated, determine the maximum possible error in the calculation. Swali rahisi tena. Na kama kawaida, though is not a perfect line, itabidi munizoee kwa hii kuchora line. But let me try one thing. Pia hiyo si perfect line. Okay, sasa swali kama hili wajibu vipi, sio? So temperature yenyewe kwenye ile room in the morning, ile ambayo iko asubuhi, is 20 degrees Celsius. So 20 degrees Celsius hiyo kuna maximum na kuna minimum. So maximum and is the minimum. Remember the level of accuracy is 1, is to the nearest whole number, and therefore your error is around 0.5, half of that accuracy, which is 0.5. So maximum yako ni 20.5, na minimum yako ni 19.5 if you add or subtract 0.5. So in the afternoon, the temperature changed, so it became around 25. So hii pia kuna maximum or minimum. So the maximum yake is 25.5 and the minimum yake is around 24.5 if you minus it by 0.5. So determine the maximum possible error in the calculation. The difference was calculated. Now for you to get the difference of, or the maximum difference first, kabla hata tujatafuta maximum possible error, the maximum difference is usually given by the maximum number minus the minimum. Is not si kama zile zingine where we are taking minimum minus minimum, maximum, minimum plus minimum, maximum plus maximum. This is different, this is subtraction. So kama nataka kutafuta difference kubwa, wachukua ile kubwa minus ndogo. So the maximum is this, not this, not this, not this, sorry. The maximum of the highest number is this. So it's supposed to be 25.5 minus the minimum number of the lowest number is this one, minus 19.5. So at the end result, 25.5 minus 19.5, it gives you this 6 degrees Celsius. That's not the answer. Now for you to get maximum possible error of the answer, what do? You usually take your maximum minus your actual, or your maximum difference minus your actual. Now let's find the actual first. The actual difference is given by the actual result that we had, so which is 25 degrees Celsius minus 20 degrees Celsius, and it gave us 1 degree Celsius, not 1, but 5 degrees Celsius. So you're supposed to take 6 degrees Celsius minus the actual one, 5 degrees Celsius, and the maximum possible error is given by 1 degree Celsius, and therefore this is your answer. So hopefully, yeah, I think it's understandable. Now let's continue with the other question. Question 3. Swali lingine. Find the value of a and b for which 7 root 2 over 5 minus 3 root 2 equal to a plus b root 2. So it's a very easy question. Now, this is Surds. So for Surds, you need to rationalize, or you rationalize the denominator, because the denominator is in irrational form and in irrational number. So how do you rationalize? You multiply by its conjugate. So you multiply by its conjugate, and conjugate is the numbers itself, but the signs will differ, moja ikiwa negative, nyingine ni positive. So the number that you multiply in the denominator, you'll also multiply it in the numerator. Ile number ambao wewe multiply hapo chini, wafaa juu pia multiply. So let's say in the numerator ambao ni hii, wachukua 7 root 2 multiply to 5 plus 3 root 2. Sawa. So ni sawa tu na kusema 7 root 2 times 5. Sawa, hii times hii. And the same 7 root 2 utamultiply na 3 root 2. So tunaenda polepole. So ukiona hapa, kianza na ya kwanza 7 wa multiply kwa 5 itakupa 35, na ile root 2 utaiweka hapo. Sawa. Nyingine ni 7, nyingine ni hii hapa 7 times 3, zile numbers ambazo ziko nyuma ya root zimultiply hizo kwanza, na inakupa 20. Kumbuka kuna plus 21, na root 2 times root 2 ni ngapi? Kumbuka roots zikimultiply na zote zafanana, you just remove the root and you just remain with the number. So root 2 again times root 2 inakuwa 2 peke yake, zile roots zitoe, times 2. So at the end of the day, your final answer in the numerator part yafaa 35 root 2, 21 times 2 ni 42. So hii ni numerator. Let's look at the denominator. The denominator tunasema ni 5 minus 3 root 2 times 5 plus 3 root 2. Now the easiest way of opening this up ni ukitumia quadratic identity ya a squared minus b squared. Na tumesema nini kuhusu hilo jambo? Ni kuwa if you have a plus b in which the denominator is in the situation a plus b times a minus b, you just square the first one minus the square of the second one. Sawa. So kazi rahisi hapa ni uchukue 5, you square 5, na hii hapa 3 root 2 you also square it and you find the difference of these two. So 5 squared ni 25. 3 root 2 3 root 2 times 3 root 2, 3 times 3 inakupa 9, root 2 times 2 inakupa 4, so inakupa 9 times 4 which is 36. So hapa imekupa minus 36. Hopefully is understandable. So hiyo ndo 3 root 2 square. So again 25 minus 36 which is 25 minus 36 itakupa negative 10. Itakupa negative 9. But is it true? Let me confirm it before even 3 times 3 9, 9 times 2 nimekosea mahali. Ile 3 times 3 is haifai iwe 36. Remember hapa ni 3 root 2 times 3 root 2. So 3 times 3 9, root 2 times root 2 yafaa iwe ni 2. So hii ni 18. So hapa yafaa minus 18 C na C2 na C4. Sorry, 25 minus 18 therefore is 7. Sawa. So answer ya chini inakupa 7. So you take the numerator which is 35 root 2 plus 42 divided by 7. But basically if you do that, it's just the same as saying the first number divided by 7 and the second number divided by 7. So at the end of the day, 35 divided by 7 inakupa 5 root 2. And for 2 divided by 7 inakupa 6. So here tumeambiwa tuiandike in this form first. And if you write it in that form, uanze na number constant. So it's supposed to be 6 plus 5 root 2. I didn't change any signs. Ni hivyo hivyo. So therefore, the value of A is this one. And the value of B is this one. So our A is equal to 6. Our B is equal to 5. So yeah. So in case hujaona, wacha niandike hapa. A yetu ni 6 na B yetu ni 5. Now let's go to the other question. So question 4. Expand and simplify the expression 2 plus 1 over 2x raised to power 5. So it's very simple question. B umeambiwa use the first 4 terms of the expansion in A to estimate the value of 2.05 raised to power 5. So basically this is an easy question from the look of it. So e to power 5, you need to, from the Pascal triangle, you need to find out what are the coefficients for power 5. Mwanzo, first things first, power 5. So coefficients of power 5, ukitumia calculator yako, ama if you use your logbook, pale utapata section ya nini, Pascal triangle. Let's use the calculator just in case. Kwenye calculator kuna pahali imeandikwa NCR. Pale kwa NCR utaeka hivi. So for the first one utabofa 5, then utabofa ile NCR which is C, itakuwa kitu kama C, then hivi. So 5C0 inakupa 1. Sawa. So utabofa, utaandika hizi zote 5C1 answer yake, 5C2, 5C3, 5C4 and last but not least 5C5. So 5C0 inakupa 1, 5C1 inakupa 5, 5C2 inakupa 10. So 10 kupa 10 inakupa 10 na hapa kupa 5 then 1 kama sijakosea. Ukiona you can confirm from your calculator. 5C3 inakupa 10, 5C4 5 hivyo. So in short, anything raised to power 5, the coefficients are 1, 5, 10, 10, 5 and 1. That's the first thing that you need to do. After doing that, ushajua coefficients zako, unakuja kwa hii utakuja kwa hii nini expansion, you need to expand this out. What we know about binomial expansion ni kuwa the first number and the second number moja, the first number usually itaanza na power 5, then it gets reduced mpaka power 0. So kama hivi, so 2 to the power of 5, alafu ile 1 over 2x which is the second number itakuwa power 0. Ile 2 inakuwa inapungua, the power gets reduced mpaka hiyo ifike power 0. But ile 1 over 2x the power increases, so 0 1 2 3 4 5, na ile ya 2 ya 5 4 3 2 1. So this one 2 inapunguka and the other one increases. Sawa, hii itakuwa 2 power 3 1 over 2x raised to power 2, then plus 2 to the power of 2 1 over 2x raised to power 3, plus 2 to the power of 1 1 over 2x raised to power 4, and last but not least 2 to the power of 0 times 1 over 2x raised to power 5. So anything that is raised to power 0 is 1. So if it is 1, then you don't need it. Sawa, kwa sababu at the end of the day itakuwa to 1. So now we have this one, but we can insert the coefficients if you want. So let's insert the coefficient na mapema. So you multiply by 1 hapa, you'll multiply by 5, you multiply by 10, multiply by 10 again, multiply by 5, then multiply by 1. So then you continue from there. So 2 to the power of 5 times 1, if you look at it, inakupa 32. So this is 32. Now 2 to the power of 4 times 5, 2 to the power of 4 times 5, let's say 2 to the power of 4 times 5, itakupa 80, but remember kuna 2x, so ile 2 wa divide now, so itakupa 40. So hii itakupa 40 over x power 1. So again 2 to the power of 3 times 10, or 2 cubed times 10, then divide by 2 squared, kwa sababu ile 2 ya our squared, remember hii 2 is getting squared. Sawa, inakuwa squared. So once ushapata 2 cubed times 10, so 2 cubed times 10 itakupa 80, then divide by 2 squared, which gives you 20. Sawa, it gives you 20. Remember the x also is squared, so itakupa 20 over x squared. So nyingine ni 2 squared times 10, obviously 4 times 10 ni 40, then 40 divided by 2 cubed side, so ni 5. So it's 5 over x cubed. Nyingine ni 2 times 5, which is 10, then 10 divided by 2 to the power of 4, which is 0.625. Let's say ni 5 over 8. So ni 5 over 8 x to the power of 4. Na mwisho ni 2 to the power of 5, yani 1 over 2. So ile 2 piga 2 power 5 na itakupata 2 chini. So hii ni 1 over 32 x to the power of 5. So and that is your answer. So the whole thing ni hivi. So yeah, so tuendelee tumalize na hii swali la pili. Umeambia use the first 4 terms of the expansion in A to estimate the value of 2.05. So mwanzo, let's find for the x value. What is our x value? Tumesema that this 2 plus 1 over 2x power 5 is just equal to 2.05 raised to power 5. Since all of them have the same powers, you can just drop the powers and you just remain with whatever is in that bracket. So yeah, so let's find the value of x. E2 peleka the other side, minus 2. So hii inakuwa 2.05 minus 2, 0.05 equal to 1 over 2x. Sawa. Again 1 over 2x, hii peleka hivi ilete hivi. So uki exchange tamam, ama waweza cross multiply. So let's say 2 times 0.05, 2 times 0.05 inakupa 0.1. So 1 is therefore equal to 0.1x divided by 0.1 divided by 0.1. So 1 divided by that 1, it should give you x to be 10. So x is equal to 10. Now use the first 4 terms, and the first 4 terms is this ones. These are the first 4 terms. So using the first 4 terms, which is very easy to get. So yeah, so the first 4 terms need 32 plus 40 over x plus 20 over x squared plus 5 over x cubed. So pale ambapo kuna x uta replace with 10. So hiyo ya kwanza ni 10. Hii x squared ni 10 squared. So replace x with 10, but 10 squared. Na hii ya tatu ni x cubed. So replace that x cubed with 10 cubed. Sawa. So yeah, what will be the answers to that? 32 plus 40 divided by 10 is 4, plus 20 divided by 10 squared plus 5 divided by 10 cubed. Yote itakupa 36.205. Which is it true or false? Yeah. So ni 36.205. To four significant figure waweza andika 36.21, but let me just write 36.205. Vile vile naona kwenye calculator yangu naandika vile vile. So this is your answer. Now I think it's very easy, not that hard. So let's go to the other question. So question 5. In the following figure, A, B, C, and D are points on the circumference of the circle of a circle center O. Line FE is a tangent to the circle at point C. Angle DCE is equal to 30 degrees and angle BAD equal to 70 degrees. So now, given reasons at each stage, determine the size of the acute angle BOC. So let's work it out and then we'll give out reasons. It's no problem for those. So yeah. So hapo juu ni 70 degrees, right? So what's the first thing that we need to do? If you look at it, what's the first thing that you should be observing is this one, right? This angle here, which is this one. So the first reason may be if you want to get angle OCD, then what do? You take 90 minus 30, which gives you 60. And why? Is because tangent is always 90 degrees. It's always 90 degrees to the center of the circle. To the center of the circle, or let's say to the center. So that's the first thing. So therefore this is 60. So obviously if you know this is 60, let me just write it here, 60 degrees. So obviously this is 90 as well, because it's also a tangent. Now another thing is this angle, which is here, angle BCO. And angle BCO, how do you get angle BCO? We say that angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. So this opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. This plus this one should add up to 180 because the whole thing is a cyclic quadrilateral. So the opposite angle should add up to each other. Should add up to 180. So basically what we're saying is this plus the two angles there, because we just know parts of this angle, we don't know the other angle. So again, we'll say that angle OCB, OCO, BCO, whichever, OCB is equal to, if you take 180 minus 70 plus 60, because both of this, since you just took 60, you're adding 60 to 70 gives you 130. 180 minus 130, 180 minus 130, it will give you 50 degrees. So how did you get that? We said opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral, in a cyclic, sorry for that, in a cyclic quadrilateral, add up to 180 degrees. Now let's continue from there. So we basically know that this one is 50. Now this is a radius, this is also radius, so basically this should also be 50 degrees. So angle OBC is equal to 50 degrees. Why? Because isosceles or isosceles triangle, where opposite angles are equal to each other. So if this is 50, this is 50, this one will give you how much? Since angles in a triangle add up to 180, so you add this 50 and 50, you get 100. So 180 minus 100, it gives you 80 degrees. This is 80 degrees, and that's the answer. So angle BOC is equal to 80 degrees. And how did you get 80 degrees? We took 180 minus 50 plus 50, which is 100, and we got 80 degrees. Now, how do you get 80 degrees? Angles in a triangle add up to 180. Add up to 180 degrees. Come on. So that is your answer. So 80 degrees is your answer. Now let's go to the other question. Now something is happening which I didn't want. Now, question 6. Two quantities y and x are such that y varies directly as the square of x plus 1. Given that y is equal to 200 when x equal to 4, determine the equation connecting the two quantities. Tamam. So remember that y varies directly as the square of x plus 1. So given that y is equal to 200 when x equal to 4, so yeah, determine the equation connecting the two quantities. Now we know that if you introduce an equal sign, you need to introduce a constant. So we prefer saying that the constant is k. So k into bracket x plus 1 square. So tamam. So y equal to k into bracket x plus 1 squared. So when y equal to 200, x is equal to 4. Now let's find for the value of k. So replace the y with 200. K kwa vile hatujui tutaacha hivyo. But for the x ni 4 plus 1 squared. So inakupa k into bracket 4 plus 1 ni 5 squared. So 5 squared ni 25. So 25 times k ni 25k equal to 200. Divide by 25. Divide by 25. K is equal to 8. So umeona k yako ndo hiyo. So 200 divided by 25 inakupa 8. So k ni 8. So unaandika hiyo equation tena. Tumesema equation yako ni y equal to k into bracket x plus 1 squared. So y equal to sahi 8 into bracket x plus 1 squared. Ingekuwa wafanya GCSE, answer yako ungeacha hapo. But it's better to expand. So wafaa expand x plus 1. So wacha to expand to x plus 1 square ni x plus 1 times x plus 1. So x times x inakupa x squared. X times 1 itakupa x. 1 times x ni x tena 1x, na 1 times 1 ni 1. So at the end of the day, expand hii itakupa x squared plus 2x plus 1. So y equal to 8 hii hapa into bracket x squared plus 2x plus 1. Open up the bracket now. Y equal to 8 times x squared ni 8x squared. 8 times 2x ni 16x. Na 8 times 1 ni 8. So this is your equation connecting the two quantities. So umeona rahisi sana. So twende kwa question 7. Question 7. The following figure shows an isosceles triangle MLN. The height of the triangle is 5 centimeter. And angle MLN is equal to 50 degrees, which is this one. Now on the figure, use a ruler and a pair of compass only to construct question A, the locus of point P, such that angle MPN equal to 50 degrees. And question B, locate point Q such that the area of angle MQN is half that of MLN and angle MQN equal to 50 degrees. Tamam. So for the first question umeambiwa locus of point P such that angle MPN is 50. So the locus of that point is usually a circle. Sawa, kwa sababu umeambiwa hapa the locus of point P such that MPN is 50 degrees. So haujui P yako iko wapi. So basically it's just a circle that touches L. So wafaa uchore something like this. So kuchora hiyo yamaanisha lazima what do you call it, you draw a perpendicular line at ML, kitu kama hivi. So you draw a perpendicular line na at MN ama at LN, whichever, uweze chora another perpendicular line also. Sawa, I don't have those the necessary tools, but all in all utachora perpendicular line somewhere. So yeah, somewhere here, maybe there, I'm not sure, I'm just guessing. So but I'll show you the answer itself. So again, perpendicular line labda paka hapa. So this is your center O, which you'd use that center O to draw a circle. So it should be something like that. So but let me show you the true diagram. So ukiona hiyo ndo the diagram itself. So ukiona tumechora, you need to we said a perpendicular line, which is this one. So wachora perpendicular line hivi and another perpendicular line hivi at ML and also at NL ama LN. So pale itapokutana, which is your center O, lazima touch the vertices of that triangle. So obviously kama hii ni MLN, which is 50 degrees, ile at any point, this is the whole locus. Hii ndo locus P, kwa sababu ukipeleka paka hapa pia is still 50 degrees. Sorry for that. Ukipeleka paka hapa ni 50 degrees, ukipeleka hapa ni 50 degrees. So yani ziko a lot of locus. So umeona, ndo maana the whole circle is the locus. Nadhani paka hapo tumeelewa. So that blue thing, this is your locus P. Now let's head back to the other question. For question B, umeambiwa locate point Q said that the area of MQN is half that of MLN and angle MQN is equal to 50. Sawa, umeambiwa hile angle ni 50 degrees, so most probably your Q is somewhere. Sawa, is somewhere here, we don't know this precise location kwa sababu umeambiwa is bado 50 degrees. So lazima if you draw something from MN to that circle, lazima itakuwa 50, but we don't know that exact point. But whatever you've been told is that triangle MQN is half that of MLN. Ile triangle yako, so a locus at a line from a line is usually parallel. Sawa, ni parallel huwa. So kama hapa ni MN, sawa, your locus Q is usually a parallel line from MN. Na kwa vile that one MQN is half of that MLN, sawa, so it means that if the distance hapa kutoka hapa mpaka hapa ni 5 cm, wafaa uchore nusu yake, which is 2.5. So you're supposed to take your compass, whatever it is, wafaa uchore parallel line. So a parallel line somewhere there here, utachora hivi and you draw a parallel line. Waja hapa wachora parallel line and you connect those two arcs. Maybe parallel line iko hapa, I'm not that sure, and this is just a sketch, but you see the true diagram itself. So this, let me use another color. So hapa umechora arc and we assumed yani kutoka hii mn mpaka hiyo parallel line is a half of 5 centimeter, which is 2.5. So pale ambapo itakapokata hiyo q yako, pale ambapo itakapokata hiyo circle is your q. So your q can be here or can be here. So, but let me show you the diagram itself and you'll see it. By the way, you asked about just to locate. Hii swali rahisi ni kulocate peke yake. Wewe huna shida yoyote, bora tu uchore freshi na kusha, hujaambiwa tafuta distance yote. So ukiona hapa wamechora half of 5 centimeters. So ona half of 5 centimeter, which is somewhere here. So wakachukua compass yao, so wakachora half of that. So wakalocate 5 centimeter, half of 5 centimeter, and then they connected the two, something like this. So yeah, so it's not that hard. So remember that this one, the locus from a line is usually another parallel line. So pale ambapo itakapokata ndo sasa q yako. So most probably your q is at these 2 points. Sawa. Na swali imekuuliza nini? Locate point q. So we've located to be say hii ni q, this is q. Sawa, hii ila parallel line yote ni q, but pale exactly ilipo nani, pale ambapo imeshika hiyo ndo q yako, kwa sababu wamekwambia the angle at mqn is lazima iwe 50 degrees. Sawa, so most probably itakuwa hapa na hapa. So those are the answer. That's the answer. So locate q, tumelocate. Tamam. So yeah, it's not that hard. Watu wadhani ni ngumu hivyo, but it's not that hard. So yeah, let's get back to the other questions. Now, before we proceed to the other questions, remember tuition programs is running along, so yani usipitikiwe. So tuition programs starting from next week or next week part 1 will be kicking off. So register through this number. Ogopa nini? Kusoma masomo mingi utasoma through us, alafu ni online ukiwa nyumbani. Na mtu akisema online si ati kuwa ni uelewi, utashika, because it's a interactive session. Nitakuuliza maswali, utaelewa maswali ambayo nafanya, na ni very easy. It's much easier, right? Mtu asikudanganya ati huwezi kukasoma ukiwa nyumbani, basi mtu mmongo. So wewe ni nani kukosa hii online classes? Wewe kama wataka, wewe kama sahii form 3 wafaa ujiprepare na mapema na mambo na form 4 ama form 3 topics zile za mwanzo. Kama wewe ni waingia form 4, wafaa uwe tayari kuko settled na umejua mapema kuliko kujia term 3 then ushindwe. So prepare early through us, my mastery tutor. Also have another fellow tutor, so don't forget to register through me, and inshallah everything will be well. It's not just me, it's a collaborative effort between 2 teachers. So one is from Bahari Girls High School. So Bahari Girls, shule kubwa. Alafu masema tuwezi soma online. Waeza bana. So yeah, let's go back to the other question. Question 8. Point U is 9,000 nautical miles to the east of point T, which is 0 degrees and 50 degrees west. So find the longitude at U. So point T ni hapa. So tumeambia 0 degrees, 50 degrees west. So ni 50 degrees west. Na U, which is east, It's also itakuwa the same latitude or the same iko katika equator, but the difference, there's a difference in longitude which you don't know. I don't know if it's east or west, but basically what this implies is that you use great circle for such a scenario. Why? Is because both of them lie at the same equator, even though they have the same latitude, but they lie at the equator. Make sure if it lies in the equator, then you use great circle. So if both of them have 0 degrees, we use great circle. If they have this different latitudes, we still use great circle. But if they have different longitudes but they don't lie at the equator, we use small circle. For this case, kwa vile zote ziko kwa equator, hatuna budi badili instead of using the great, but instead you should use the great circle, in which for nautical mile, great circle is given by this formula theta, which is the difference in latitudes. But for this case, we don't have latitudes, our latitudes are just 0, so we take the difference in longitudes times 60, which is equal to 9,000 nautical mile. So let's divide by 60, and therefore theta is equal to 150. So ukiangalia hii ni 150. There's no way I can subtract this and this to give you 150. This means that you added those two to give you 150. So ikiwa umeadi hizo mbili, it means that this one is in east. So if it is in east, then you add the two longitudes. But if they both are in the same direction, which is in west, you could have subtracted. But for this case, moja ilikuwa ni west, ingine ni kwa east, ndo maana uli add ukapata 150 degrees. Sawa. So peleka 50 the other side, so 150 minus 50, x is therefore 100 degrees east. So this is the longitude. Umeulizwa longitude, hujaambiwa location ya kitu chote hapo. So B, the question is very specific. So find the longitude at U, which is 100 degrees east. Sawa. So let's go to the other question. Okay, question 9. The following graph shows displacement S meters of a moving particle from a point O after time t seconds, that ranges from 0 to 1. Use the graph to determine the rate of change of displacement S at time t equal to 0.5 seconds. Wacha tuanze kujibu swali. So tutafuta hiyo 0.5 seconds, which is here. We have a 0.5 seconds, and we are supposed to draw a tangent. So in which, let's say tangent yetu si hapa, si hapa, let's say pia haikudara, ukawe makini, so imedara at least. So let's say that is your tangent. So from your tangent, watafuta any of the 2 points, kutafuta rate. Na rate is given by change in y over change in x. So let's say hii ndo triangle yako, nafaa uwe makini. So let's say ni hapa mpaka hapa. Sawa. So let's say hii point ambayo ni hii ni around, kwa vile ni 0.4 na 7.6 hapo. So hii ni 0.4, 7.6 na nyingine also itakuwa around 0.81, sawa, 5 yenyewe. So again, change in y over change in x, y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. So y1 yetu ni hiyo, hii ni x1, y1, x2, y2. So chukua 7.6 minus 5 all over 0.4 minus 0.81. obviously answer yetu itatupa negative kwa sababu yenyewe slope ya shuka haipandi. 7.6 minus 5 itakupa 2.6, sawa. 0.4 minus 0.81 itatupa negative 0.41, so it's negative 0.41. If you detect that, divide by this, 2.6 divide by hiyo answer yetu itakupa negative 6.34, sawa. Negative 6.34. Now the real answer hapa yasema I think it's around 4 or 3, but kila answer iko na range yake. Mimi nimepata hii, wewe waweza pata tofauti depending on your way of interpreting that graph. So si ati kuwa ni one fixed answer hivyo. So yeah, so this is my answer. You can look out what is your answer. You can find out what is your answer kwenye hapa magisi imesema negative 5 point something, but wajua vile wewe unavyochora hiyo line tofauti kabisa, na kwa sababu natumia screen maybe also it's affected too, but the answer is not fixed, so usually it differs. But for this one that I've got is the one that I've said, which is true by the way. So don't panic. So wait a minute, 0.82. Hii ni 0.82 if I'm not wrong. That's why we have 0.82. 0.82. Hii ni 0.82. Let me just use my finger. 0.82. So nadhani hapa itakuwa imebadilika, so it's somehow changing. 0.4 minus 0.82 itakupa negative 0.42. So your answer again itakuwa tofauti, so ingichukua 2.6 divide by hiyo yakupa negative 6.19. So nifute hii, bado umeona 6.19. So labda hiyo imeaffect the answer somehow, but again you can have different answers. So si ati kuwa is a very fixed thing. Sijui ukaona sijui answer yako ni wrong ama answer ya ule ni wrong, waweza kupata hata negative 5.91. It depends with you how you drew that line. So now without further ado, let's go to the next question. Question 10. Now for question 10, you've been told that the ages of 32 residents at a home for the elderly people are presented in the following frequency distribution table. We have the frequency distribution table 7 to 74 until we have 95 to 99. We also have the number of residents, which represents for the frequency part. Okay, so it's a very easy question, which I think anyone can solve it if you just be keen, guys. Now for the number of years, let's sort this out. Let me write it in this way: 75 to 79. We have 80 to 84. We also have 85 to 89. Okay, we have 90 to 94, and lastly 95 to 99. And then remember, we should have a midpoint here, which will help us. Will it really help us in finding the upper quartile? No. Just remember that this is the age or years. And then we have the frequency or the number of residents, which is 5, 6, we have 7, we have 8, we have 4 and 2. And then we have something called cumulative frequency. So that's the basic thing that we should know. Cumulative frequency: 5 plus 6, 11, 11 plus 7, 18, 18 plus 8, 26, plus 4 gives us 30, and then 32. So yeah, it's very easy. Now for you to get the upper quartile, which is represented with the symbol of Q3, is given by the lower boundary plus 3/4 of n, or 3/4 of the sum of f, whichever one that you'd be using, minus cumulative frequency above, then multiply by your class intervals, divide by your frequency. Now, the most important thing is for us to search for 3/4 of n. So 3/4 of the total frequency, which is 32. Okay. So if you take 3/4 of 32, how much would it give us? 3 divided by 4 times 32 gives us 24. So obviously, this is 24. If you take 3/4 times 32 gives you 24. So therefore, we finish with this. So we come here and locate where our 24 is. Our 24 is here. So this is the cumulative frequency. It's past 18, so it's in the cumulative frequency of 26. So we highlight the whole thing there. So 24 minus the cumulative frequency above, which is minus 18, multiplied by the class interval. And how do you get the class interval? Either take the last numbers, 89 minus 84, or you take the upper boundary minus the lower boundary. In this case, the upper boundary can be, let me just write here, the upper boundary can be 89.5 for this one. The lower boundary is 84.5. So subtract it, and it gives you 5.0. Or if you just calculate using your fingers, you calculate from 85 to 89, how many numbers are those? Do not take 89 minus 85 because it's the wrong thing. So or either you subtract 89 from 85, you subtract 85 from 89, then you add 1. That's another way as well. So it gives us 5. So multiply by 5, divide by the class frequency, which is divide by the frequency, which is 8. Then lower boundary is this one, which is not 85 but instead 84.5. So this is 84.5. So yeah, so 84.5. So first 25 minus 18, then divide by 8 gives us 25 minus 18 gives us 6, divide by 8, then multiply 5, then it gives us 3.75. So you're just supposed to take 84.5 plus 3.75 to give you 84.5 to give you 88.25. So this is your upper quartile, or Q3. Done. So yeah, is it hard? No. Now, question 11. A circle center -2, 3 and radius 5 units is drawn on a Cartesian plane. Determine the x-intercept of the circle. Right. An easy question again, not that hard. Now remember that the equation of a circle is given by this formula: x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equal to r squared, where a and b are usually the center of the circle. Is the center of the circle. Or let's say a, b, where a, b is the center of the circle. So now we already know our center to be this one and our radius to be this one. So our job is just to insert those inside. So you're supposed to take x. Remember, our a is -2, so x minus -2, which at the end of the day, x minus -2 gives you x plus 2, plus y minus b. Y minus our b is 3, so y minus 3 squared equal to r squared. R squared is 5 squared. So basically, r squared 5 squared is equal to 25. So this is one way of finding the equation of the circle. Basically, sometimes for GCSE students, they can leave it like this, but for us, we need to expand that out. But our main concern is not writing the equation of the circle. is entirety. Our question is finding the x-intercept. Now you need to ask yourself, what is an x-intercept? An x-intercept is a point on the x-axis when y is equal to 0. So one of the coordinates of y is 0. The x coordinate is usually a number which you don't know. So now inside that equation, which is x plus 2, because you don't know what is your x value, but you know your y value, and your y value is 0. So instead of writing y, you write 0 minus 3 squared, which is equal to 25. So now 0 minus 3 squared gives you minus 3 squared and minus 3 squared. So you have minus 3 squared equal to 25. You also have x plus 2 squared. So for minus 3 squared, you get 9. But for x plus 2 is different. And here is, and I'll show you how to expand it. You expand this way, x plus 2 times x plus 2. So x times x gives you x squared. X times 2, 2x. So basically also if you take 2 times x, it gives you 2x. And if you take 2 times 2, gives you positive 4. So at the end of the day, if you collect like terms, you should get x squared. Remember 2x plus 2x gives you 4x. So x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 9 equal to 25. Now we just got a quadratic equation. This is, yeah. So collect the like terms, x squared plus 4x, 4 plus 9 gives you 13. You can put the 25 to the other side, gives you minus 25, which is equal to 0. So 13 minus 25 gives us 13 minus 25 gives us minus 13 minus 25 gives us minus 12. If I'm not wrong, yeah, it should be minus 12. Yeah, so it gives us minus 12. Now the sum, you need to find the value of x now. The sum is 4. Product is negative 12. Remember that our sum yetu ni hii hapa, product yetu ni negative 12. So product huwa ni 1 times hiyo, but negative 12, but at the end of the day ni bado negative 12. So the sum, namba gani mbili ukiadd ya kupa 4 na namba gani mbili ukimultiply ya kupa negative 12. Namba hizo mbili ni negative 4 and negative, is it negative 4 and negative 3? No, it's supposed to be 6 and negative 2. Yeah, if you add 6 and negative 2, you get 4. And if you multiply those 6 and negative 2, those two numbers, you get negative 12. So basically, if you factorize, it should give you x plus 6 and x minus 2, which is equal to 0. Now let's find out the value of x. So the value of x, and let me write it up there because of space. So the value of x plus 6 tumesema ni equal to 0. So 6 ukipeleka the other side itakuwa x equal to minus 6. So for the other one tumesema x minus 2 equal to 0. So ukipeleka minus 2 the other side itakuwa ni x equal to positive 2. So at the end of the day, the value of x will be 2. So we'll either have x to be 6, so, or x to be x to be not 6. Sorry for that. You either have, let me write using a black pen so that it can be seen. So you either have x to be negative 6 or x to be 2. And these are your x value answers. So the x-intercepts are basically, I'm writing it here because of, I think, nafasi haiko tena. So these are your x-intercept, negative 6, 0, and the other one is 2, 0. So these are the x-intercepts. So let's wind up. We have only a few questions for section 1. Question 12. An investor deposited 20,000 in an account that pay compound interest at a rate of 2.5% every 6 months. At the end of the investment period, the interest earned was 5,600. determine the duration in years of the investment period. So basically, this is an easy question, but it's somehow tricky. Now we know that principal is given by, not principal, but amount of any compound, anything that has compound interest given by principal times 1 plus r over 100 raised to power n. Tamam. Sawa, kitu chochote yani ikiwa na compound interest formula yake ni hii. So amount yetu hatuna, tuweza tafuta. Kitu ambayo tumeulizwa tutafute ni duration in years. So the amount is basically this one, because hapo tumpewa principal na tukapewa interest, so amount is just principal plus your interest. So principal yetu ni 20,000 na jamaa ankula interest ya 5,600, and therefore our amount would be 25,600 Kenyan shillings. Now what we know is that this amount is given by the formula, which is this one. So principal, which is 20,000 times 1 plus r over 100, and r over 100, our interest rate is 2.5%, which is 2.5 over 100 raised to power n. But remember, the n is representing for the periods, not the years. So we need to search for the number of periods. So first thing is first. So 1 plus 2.5 divided by 100, it gives us at least 1 plus 2.5 is written as 0.025. So it becomes 1 plus 0.025, which is 1.025. 1.025. So let's divide by 20,000 to remove the 20,000 that we have there. So 25,600 divided by 20,000, and it gives you 1.28. So this one gives us 1.28 equal to 1.025 raised to power n. Now we need to find n, but the n is in terms of power, equal kama power. So for you to ensure that n doesn't become a power, you introduce a log. So ukiweka log 1.025 raised to power n on the left side here, take a log 1.28. Now there's a concept in log that ikiwa uko na power kwa namba, ile power inaenda nyuma. So that n automatically goes behind the log, which is here. So for you to get n, you divide by log 1.025, you divide by log 1.025, and therefore our n is equal to, now log 1.28 divided by log 1.025, and it should give you 9.997. So 9.997 periods, that is, which is just to say is 10 periods. But remember that is not our answer. You've been told determine the duration in years. Tamam. So for every 1 period we have 6 months. So in every 1 year we have 2 periods. So for you to get the amount of years, right, the amount in years, you take the number of periods, which is 10, multiply by the 2. Sawa. So kwa mwaka kuna period mbili, or about 10 periods. It has how many years? So 10 times 2, is it 10 times 2? No. Kwa mwaka, we know that for 2 periods is for 1 year, right? So 10 periods is for how many years? So you're supposed to take 10 divided by 2. Tamam. And not 10 times 2. Otherwise ingekuwa ni wrong answer. So it's supposed to take 10. Again, I don't know what's happening to my pen. 10 divided by 2, and it gives us 5 years. So our answer is basically 5 years. So let me write here. Domone. So our years, our answer is just basically 5 years. Hiyo kaona ni different answer. So this is our answer. Now sometimes your marking scheme ya bahadi iweza kukosea. Nimeona hapo ikikosea nimetumia marking scheme fulani. So that's why I went on to correct such a question. The real answer should be 5 years. Ukiona marking scheme fulani yasema 10 years, basi ni uongo. Sijui ilikuwaje mpaka ukafikiria ni hivyo, but that's the answer. So let's go to the other question that we have for this video. Okay, question 13. So points A -4,7, B 4,1, and C 16, -8 lie on a straight line. Determine the ratio in which B divides AC. Tamam. So basically what they're implying is that there is this line, and this is A, and this is B. Is this B? No, this is C. So, and B is the one that's dividing AC. So basically B is like dividing AC in some ratio which we don't know. So tutasema AB is equal to a fraction of AC, yani KAC. Hatujui kama ni a quarter of AC ama 3/4 ama 2/5. Allahu alam. Well, we know that there's a constant behind AC. So we know that this one, this one here is K equal to KAC, constant AC. So our AB should be B minus A equal to K into bracket C minus A. So basically 4, 1, which is B minus A ni hii minus -4 and 7. So this one, if you subtract them out, 4 minus -4, itakupa 4 plus 4, which gives you 8. 1 minus 7 gives you -6. Come on. Equal to K, also C minus A. So C, uta subtract na A pia. We know our C is this minus the A. So 16 minus 8 minus -4 and 7. No, A is 7. So equal to K, tamam. 16 minus -4 gives you 16 plus 4, which is +20, minus 8 minus 7 gives you -15. If you multiply each number by K, you'll get 20K and -15K. So the K should be the same, whether you do the above one or the low one. So lazima ujue 20K is equal to 8. So ukidivide na 20, remember this is 20K, which is equal to 8. 8 divided by 20, it should give you, I think, 0.4, which is 2/5. So basically our constant is 2/5. So K ni 2/5. Ukitumia nyingine pia, if you use the other one, let's say if you use this one and this one, -6 equal to -15. If you K divide by -15 divide by -15, bado itakupa K to be 2/5, positive 2/5. So yeah. So basically, let's come back to here where we said AB, tuseme AB equal to KAC, right? But we know our K, and our K is basically now 2/5. 2/5. So let's come back to that straight line. Sawa. So kama wajua AB ni 2/5 of AC. So it means that from B to C itakuwa 5/5 minus 2/5, which is 3/5. So the ratio of AB to BC is equal to 2:3, kwa sababu ukichukua, let's say ukichukua 2/5 is to 3/5, hiyo 5 na 5 yatoka, utabakiwa na 2:3. So this is your ratio. So basically the ratio is 2:3. Tamam. So let's go to the other question. Now question 14. Sawa. Question 14. You've been told that this is a matrix T. Sawa. We have A plus 1, we have 4, we have 4, we have A plus 1 as well. So maps a triangle PQR of area 0.5 units square onto a triangle P prime, Q prime, and R prime of area 4.5 units square. So this one ni mambo na area scale factor. An area scale factor is given by the area of the image over the area of the object. Sawa? And there's a connection to this transformation. Forgot even to ask to state the question. The question is asking you to determine the possible values of A under that transformation which is here. Now this something related to area scale factor. Area scale factor is equal to area of the image over the area of the object. So for PQR, P prime, Q prime, R prime, that's the area of the image, divided by the area of the object, which is PQR. So P prime, Q prime, R prime is 4.5 divided by 0.5. So if you divide those two, 4.5 divided by 0.5, it gives you 9. So 9 is your area scale factor. But there's also another way of finding area scale factor, and that is through determinants. So you need to find the determinant of the transformation or the matrix T that we've been given, which is this one. Now, but the question is, how do you find that determinant of this matrix? We know that determinants is given by, is it the main, this is the main diagonal, so the main diagonal minus the other diagonal. So the main diagonal being A plus 1 times A plus 1. That's the main diagonal. Minus the other diagonal, which is 4 times 4. And it gives you area scale factor. The determinant itself gives you the area scale factor, and you know the area scale factor is 9. So let's open up A plus 1 times A plus 1, which again, A times A squared, A times 1 plus A, 1 times A plus A again, 1 times 1 plus 1. So basically, this is just A plus A gives you plus 2A. A squared plus 2A plus 1. And remember, 4 times 4 gives you 16. So minus 16, which is equal to 9. Now, 1 minus 16 plus 1 minus 16 gives you negative 15. And if you put the 9 to the other side, it should give you A squared plus 2A minus 15 minus 9 equal to 0. And minus 15 minus 9 is minus 24. So again, sum product. Our sum is basically these two. Our product, since the coefficient for A squared is 1, our product becomes this one. So namba mbili ambazo ukiadd yakupa 2, ukimultiply yakupa negative 24, which are those two numbers? Which is the two numbers are 6 times negative 4, it gives you 2, and 6, so 6 times negative 4 gives you negative 24. If you take 6 plus negative 4 gives you 2 as well. So it's 6 and negative 4. So basically, if you factorize, it should give you something like A plus 6 and A minus 4, which is equal to 0. So at the end of the day, A is equal to negative 6. Just change the sign of this one, because if you take A plus 6 equal to 0, let's say A plus 6 equal to 0, 6 inakuja hapa, A itakuwa negative 6. So the other one pia a minus 4 equal to 0, itakuwa a equal to positive 4. Change the sign of this, change the sign of this, itakuwa a values. And therefore the possible values of a tayari nishaandikia. So it's either negative 6 or 4. Right. Now let's go to the other question. Question 15. A particle starts from a point O and moves in a straight line. Its velocity v meters per second at time t seconds given by v equal to 4 minus t. The distance s of the particle from O at time t equal to 2 seconds is 7 meters. Calculate s when t equal to 4 seconds. Come on. Very easy question. Now v is given by 4 minus t. But we need to find s. Okay, the distance of s. We've been given the distance of s at time t equal to 2 seconds, and that is 7 meters, but we don't know the function for s. If you know the function for s, then we could use that function or equation for s to find the value of s when t equal to 4 seconds. Come on. So let's find the function of s. And how do you find the function of s? You only find it if you integrate 4 minus t. And therefore s is given by 4 minus t. If there is a number, utaweka t hapa, na kama kuna leta, kumbuka kwa ile leta kulikuwa na power 1, sio? So you'll add 1 and then divide by the answer that you got from that addition. So in short, itakupa minus t squared, na ile answer uliyopata hapo juu uta divide now. Now remember there's plus c, the constant that you don't know. Tamam. So that is one thing that you should know. So the distance s when the time t equal to 2 seconds, when t is equal to 2 seconds is 7. So where does s eka 7 and where does t weka 2? So 4 times 2 minus 2 squared over 2 plus c. So 7 equal to 4 times 2 ni 8 minus 2 squared, which is 4 divided by 2 plus c. So basically 4 divided by 2 ni 2, na 8 minus 2 ni 6. Na 6 ukipeleka the other side itakuwa ni 7 minus 6 equal to c. Therefore c ni ngapi? C ni 1. So as a result our equation s equal to, equation yetu itaandikwa hivi 4t minus t squared over 2 plus c, sahi wajua c plus 1. So that's the function of s. Now calculate s when t equal to 4. So pale ambapo kuna t wa eka 4. So 4 times 4 minus 4 squared divided by 2 then plus 1. So s will be how much? Hii itakupa 16. 4 squared itakupa 16 pia divided by 2 plus 1. 16 divided by 2 inakupa 8. Sawa? 16 minus 8 itakupa 8. And 8 plus 1 itakupa 9. So our distance is 9 meters. Isn't that easy? Now let's go to the last question of section A. Question 16. Question 16 inauliza the following graph represents a wave of trigonometric function y equal to a sine. This one, don't know how to pronounce it. Is it theta? Is it w? I don't know. I'm not sure because I'm not conversant with this symbol. But something like w or theta, or I don't know. Let's say wx plus 30 degrees for negative 90, which is less or equal to x, but x is less or equal to 90. So it's a range between negative 90 and 90. So you have this one. Tamam. Now you've been told to determine the values of scalars a and this w, something like that thing. So and how do you determine it? So let me write the equation y equal to a plus a sine and then there's this thing, I don't know what is it, 30 degrees. Now A is our amplitude. Hope that is understandable. A is our amplitude, and our amplitude is the highest, the peak of that graph, in which is 2 here, and here is -2, but we ignore the -2, the negative part, so we just write it to be 2. So our amplitude is 2, so our A value is 2. Now, for you to get something this, you need to know the period. And what is your period? Right. Now look at this. The peak of this, the x value of this is -75, and the peak of this is 15. So the difference between the two is supposed to be 15 minus -75, which should give you 90 degrees. Tamam. Or you can use this one, which is I think -57.5, and this one is I think 37.5. If you add those two, let me confirm, otherwise I could have been, but let me confirm. It's 95, that's not 57.5. I think it's 52.5, if I'm not wrong. I think it's 52.5. It's -52.5. So if you take 37.5 minus 52.5, it should give you 90, right? So either take this, take 37.5 minus -52.5, it gives you 90 degrees. Or just take the peak, the x coordinates of the peak, and this one as well, and then take 15 minus 75, which is this. But this one is not 90. So basically we know that if you take 360 divide by this one, it's what gives you 90 degrees. So let's find what this. So you take 360, you can interchange this one to come here and the other one to come here. So you take 360 divided by 90. Done. And if you take 360 divided by 90, it should give you 4. And that is your answer. So this one is 4. And A is this one. So let me just write it here. So A is 2. And this, I don't know which type of arrow is this or symbol is this. This is 4. So yeah. Now let's dive into section B. Assalamu alaikum tena. Section B. Here we are. Now let me change the font and we start the session. Question 17. Two varieties of groundnuts type Q and type R are sold in the market. Type Q is sold at 130 shillings per kg, while type R is sold at 180 shillings per kg. Question A trader bought 50 kg of type Q and 75 kg of type R from the market. The two varieties were then mixed, and Roman 1 determined the cost price of 1 kg of the mixture. Tamam. So yeah, very simple question with a simple answer. So hopefully we'll get the answer right now. Now this is a very simple question. People might think it's very hard, but it's not that hard. So you just need to know the things that are needed. Sasa ukipewa swali kama hii, umeulizwa utafute 1 kg, mwanzo lazima ujue the total price for the 50 kg and the total price for the 75 kg of type R. So then you add them and then divide by the total, ndio itakupa price per kg. So utachukua 130 shillings multiply with the 50 kg type Q, then add to 180 shillings multiply by 75 kg. So ukifanya hivi ya kupa price ya kg zote, but you just need to find the cost price of 1 kg. Therefore, you divide by the total kgs that you have. So the total kgs is 50 plus 75, which gives you the answer to be 125 kg. Tamam. So nikichukua 130 times 50 plus 180 times 75 gives you 20,000. So hii ni 20,000 divided by 125. So divide by 125. It gives you 160 shillings per kg. So this is the price for 1 kg of the mixture per 1 kg. Sawa, umemix, umechukua bei ya type R type Q, sorry, ukamultiply na total kgs za type Q, which is utakupa kitu kama hii, and then ukachukua type R, bei ya type R ukamultiply na total kgs za type R, and then add both of them and divide by the total kgs. Very simple. Si ngumu hivyo. Let's go to Roman 2. Now, a trader sold 80% of the mixture at 170 shillings per kg and the rest at 180 shillings per kg. Sawa. Ukaulizwa determine the profit, the percentage profit made by the trader. Okay, the percentage profit made by the trader in short. Sawa. Enyewe, the total cost that he incurred, the chart of the total cost incurred, and that is 160 times the total kgs ni 125 kgs, kwa sababu umemix hizo mbili, so total ya hiyo itakuwa 250 plus itakuwa 50 plus 75. The reason why I'm finding the cost kwa sababu utaitumia kutafuta profit yako. So 160 times 125 it gives you 20,000. So obviously tulitafuta huko juu. Now that's the total cost. Now sales zake, right? Amesema 80% of the mixture aliuza kwa 170. So 80% of the mixture, which is 125 kg, tujue the number of kg that he sold at 170 shillings, which is 0.8 times 125 kg. It gives you 100 kg. So 100 kg aliuza kwa 170 shillings. So ile itakaobakia, which is 125 kg minus 100, ile itakaobakia ni kilo 25. He sold it at how much? He sold it at 180 shillings. So you just take 100 kg multiply to 170 shillings to give you 17,000. That's what he gets from that 100 kg. And you take 25 kgs times 180 shillings. And let's see how much you get from that. It gives you 4,500 shillings. Now add both of them, 17,000 plus 4,500, and it gives you around, I think, 21,500. So the total sale that he incurred, amepata sales at 21,500 shillings. So his sales was 21,500. So that's something that you should know. Now, profit is equal to your sales minus cost. So sales zake ilikuwa ni 21,500 minus cost yake, which is 20,000, divide by before dividing, so that gives you your profit. So if you subtract that, 21,500 minus 20,000 itakupa 1,500. Hiyo ndo profit yake. But remember that percentage profit, let's say ukipewa percentage profit, is usually sales minus cost over sales, not over sales, but over the cost, the original price, multiply to 100, multiply by 100%. So hapa utachukua 1,500 divide by cost yako, which is 20,000, multiply to 100. And let's see how much it gives us. So 1,500 divided by 20,000, our original price, and then multiply to 100, and it gives us 7.5% profit. Kidogo sana, lakini tutapambana na. So this is your profit. Yeah, I think that is easy. Now let's go to this question B. I think this is our last question. 4 marks, 2 marks, 6 marks. So our last question here, Uliza, another trader brought and mixed the two varieties of groundnuts. The trader made a profit of 25% by selling the mixture at 200 shillings per kg. Let me use this. So determine the ratio in which the trader mixed the two varieties. So now you know that he made a profit of 25%. His selling price is at 125%. Na aliuza kwa 200 shillings. Now you need to know the cost, because at that time when you're mixing you are finding for the cost. Hatukupati si atikuwa hivyo utapata tu ushamix alafu ushapata selling price. No, you need to find the cost after the mixture and then you'll sell it afterwards. So what is 100%? That is the total cost. So utachukua 100 times 200 divided by 125. Yeah, something like that. 100 times 200 divided by 125, and it should give you around, I think, 160. So itakupa 160 shillings. So this is the cost. So what you did hapa, so you mix two things. You mix ile R na ukamix type Q. Now for type R, because you need to refer to the first question, for type Q ilikuwa bei ni 130 na for type R ilikuwa 180. But you don't know umemix na kg ngapi. So, but you know that for type R 130, we multiply to the number of kgs, which is represented by R, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, no, Q, which is represented by Q. Sawa, by Q. Na ile nyingine ilikuwa ni 180. Sawa, which is represented by R. So hii ilikuwa ni 180 multiply by the kgs ambazo ziko represented by R divided by Q plus R. Hizi ni number of kgs and this is the sum of those kgs. Ndo ukiadd na then divide by the number of kgs ndo itakupa hiyo 160. Remember, we didn't know by how much they mixed, so hujui unachukua kilo ngapi ukamix na kilo ngapi hivyo. That's why nimeweka unknowns. So cross multiply. So hii ya chini utamultiply na hapa. So you'll be taking 160 times Q plus R equal to 130Q. 130 times Q ni 130Q plus 180R. So open up ile ya Q plus R itakuwa 160Q plus 160R, which is equal to 130Q plus 180R. So the next thing, let's wacha ni subtract 130Q hapa minus 130Q. Hapa itakupa 30Q, alafu nichukue 160R nipeleke the other side, minus 160R minus 160R. Obviously 160R minus 160 itatoka, then utaweka equal sign, hii pia itatoka. 180R minus 160R itakupa 20R. So the next thing ni utafute ratio of Q to R. So let's divide by R first. Divide by R, which gives you 30Q over R equal to 20, kwa sababu R na R ishatoka. Then divide by 30. Then divide by 30. And therefore Q over R itakupa 20 is to 30. If you simplify it, itakupa 2 is to 3, which is ratio 2 is to 3. So Q is to R ni 2 is to 3. So this is the ratio. But there's also another way ya solve. I can show you this one. It's better ujue formula zote. kuliko kustuck in one formula alafu ikushinde baadaye. So that's why I need to wrap this. Hopefully you've noted it in your book. If you haven't, waweza uka rewind to hiyo video, which is hata kama ni live video bado waweza kurewind. So the other way, let me show it using another pen. The other way is this way. We'll assume kuna 160 hapa. This is the simplest way, but si ati kuwa na encourage wanafunzi kuifanya, but na discourage pia at the same time, kwa sababu is too much laziness in it, na ni 4 marks ati hivi ifanye tu kama kuconfirm. So hii ni 160 baada ushatafuta nini 100%, tutasema 125% is equal to 200. What about 100%? So baada ushapata 160 hiyo, na wajua ratio ya hapa ni 130 na hapa ni 180. Sawa? So what you do, utachukua 160 minus 130 na itakupa 30. Utachukua 180 minus 160 na itakupa 20. So ratio yako tayari ushapata ni 20:30. So ukitoa the 0 on both sides, answer yako itakupa 2:3. Ni simplest way, but hiyo 4 marks nazo, but just be keen. Ukitaka waweza kutumia tu just kuangalia kama answer yako ni correct or wrong, but don't say it's wrong. It's not wrong. So okay, let's go to the other question rather than focusing on one question. Okay, question 19. The income tax rates of a certain year was shown in the following table. So ukiona hapa kuna monthly taxable income in Kenyan shillings 0 to 24,000 at a tax rate of 10% till 800,000, which is at over 800,000 we have a tax rate of 35%. In that year, Judy's monthly earnings were as follows: basic salary of 104,644, a house allowance of 25,000 shillings, commuter allowance of 12,000 shillings. Judy was entitled to a monthly tax relief of 2,400 shillings. Question A, Roman 1, calculate Judy's taxable income that month. Roman 2, the tax payable by Judy that month. Question B, in July that year, Judy's basic salary changed. Her allowances and monthly tax relief remaining as before. Annual tax that month was 39,483.35. Calculate her new basic salary. So now if you look at this, we have slabs, and for each slab we have different amounts. So we have like at least 5 slabs till 800,000. We have also amounts of over 800,000 shillings. But coincidentally, I don't know who makes 800,000 shillings in a month. If it's a businessman, maybe. But if someone who's earning salary, I don't think so. So question A is asking you to calculate taxable income that month. Now for the taxable income, we know that taxable income is always equal to your basic salary plus allowances. So basic salary, which we've been given, plus all the allowances, and all allowances include the commuter allowance and also the house allowance. So basically what we're doing, we're taking the 104,644, which is our basic salary, plus 25,000, our house allowance, plus the commuter allowance of 12,000 shillings. Right. Now let's find out. 104,644 plus 25,000 plus 12,000 gives you 141,644. So 141,644 shillings. So this is the money that he will be taxed on. That's why it's called taxable income. The income that's taxed. So Roman 2, the tax payable by Judy that month, in which you need to write taxes for each slab. For the first slab, if you look at it, is from 0 to 24,000. So the amount that's in this slab is just 24,000. So you take 24,000 and you calculate the tax at 24 at the first slab, which is 10% of whatever you get in that region. So that region has 24,000. 10% of 24,000 gives you 2,400. For the second slab, obviously, it has different amount. It has a different amount, and that amount is given by the last digit that we have here minus the last digit in the first slab. So which is 32,333 minus 24,000, which gives you at least 8,333. Now, if you want to confirm, you can use your calculator. So what did I say? You take 32,333 minus 24,000. And if you find it, you'd find it interesting that you might have sometimes different amounts in different slabs. Sometimes you might have same amounts in different slabs as well. So depending on the nature of the question. So just be keen whenever you're calculating for the tax payable in a certain month. So if you subtract the two, you get 8,333. So it gives you 8,333 multiply to percentage yako hapo ukiona ni 25%. So ya kwanza ni 10%, ya pili ni 25%. So multiply to 25 over 100. Sawa. So katika slab yako ya pili utalipa tax ya shilingi ngapi? So 8,000, which is your answer, times 0.25, and it gives you 2,083.25. So that's the tax for the second slab. Umeona? Ni rahisi. Now, before anything, you need to find this amount itafika paka which slab. Mi najifanyia tu tax, but before even finding taxation, you need to know this amount, which is our taxable income, is at which slab. So ukiona ni 141,000, so is in the third slab. So we did the tax for the first, second. Now the last calculation will finish at the third slab. And now how do you get the amount that's here in the third slab? You take the total, which is 141,644, minus it by 32,333 again. So let's find the tax of the third slab. We said you take 141,644 minus 32,333, and let's see how much it gives us. So if you take 141,644 minus 32,333, you get an amount which is equivalent to 109,311. So hapa ni 109,311 multiply to the tax rate which you're given in the third slab, which is 30%. So remember, in the third slab, we have an amount that is equivalent to 109,311, which is a huge amount, but it makes sense due to the sense of a larger taxable income. So 109,311 multiplied to the tax rate of 30%. So 109,000. And remember, whenever you multiply into the percentage, ile answer utakaopata si pounds. This is just in shillings yet. So that 1 times 0.3, and it should give us 32,793.3. So again, I'm confirming using my calculator once more. So it gives us 32,793. So say 32,793.33. Now let's add all of those up. So you take, now you need to find gross tax before even tax payable. This tax payable is usually the net tax. So the gross tax is equivalent to 24,000 plus, is it 24,000? Sorry, 2,400 plus 2,083.25 plus 32,793.33. So how much does it give us? 2400 plus 2000 anasema 2000 na 83.25 plus 32,783.33, it gives us 37,276.58. So I get 37,276.58 Kenyan shillings. So that's your amount, right? That's just only your gross tax. Now, for you to get the net tax, you usually take net tax is equal to your gross tax minus relief. So our gross tax is 37,276.58 minus the relief that I've been given in the question. Now, wajiuliza hii ni nini? Relief is just something that's relieving you from the burden of taxation, of huge taxation. So kuliko kulipa a large amount wa kudidaktia tu pesa kidogo ambao hufai kulipa. So they deduct from all the tax, which is at 7,276.58. They deduct from you 2,400, which you shouldn't pay. So take this minus 2,400 and you get 34,876. So 34,876.58. And that is your answer. Ni ngumu, si ngumu. Now question B, in July that year, Judy's basic salary changed. Her allowances in monthly tax relief remain as before. Her net tax that month was, we said, to be 39,483.35. Calculate her new basic salary. So this is just one way of back taxation. So what we have here is our net tax. But for you to find out our basic salary, we need to find our taxable income first. And how do you find the taxable income? Is through getting the gross tax. Lazima upate gross tax yako. Huwezi calculate ati taxable income na umpewa net tax. So lazima gross tax. Kwa sababu wakati wewe ufanya tax, answer yako ya kwanza ilikuwa ni gross tax, si net tax. So gross tax yako ni 39,483.35 plus the relief. So you take net tax plus relief to get your gross tax. And your relief obviously was 2,400. So you got a gross tax of 39,483.35 plus 2,400, and you get a gross tax of 41,883.35. So 41,883.35. So that's your gross tax. Now let's start calculating the taxable income. Now we know we had the first slab and we had the second slab. Now from whatever tax that you got, most probably this amount itaishia pale, this amount itaishia pale kwa third slab, kwa sababu si huge enough. Ukiona 34,000 or 41,000, somehow very close, so it still means that it's in the third slab. So katika first slab, tax yako ilikuwa ushapata, in which your tax was 2,400, sawa, and the tax in the second slab ulipata ni 2,083.35. Yes, no 0.35 or 0.25. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's 0.25. But let me just confirm, just for the case of remove any suspicious stick. So yeah, it's true. So let's continue from there. So you know it's 2,083.35. Now if you add the tax for the two slabs, let's see how much it gives us. It should give us a measurable amount plus 2,083.35. It gives you 4,483.35. So 4,483.35. So now I can't write below that because we might not be seeing even the amount, but let me just write it here just in case you're not seeing. Sawa, so hii ndo answer yako katika the first two slabs. Now for you to get the third slab, the tax for the third slab usually is given by a certain amount multiplied to 30%, na ile taxation uliopata katika third slab is basically 41,883.35 minus 4,483.35. Is it 35? No, it's 2.25, sorry. 85.25 ndo hapa upate 0.25. Sorry, my bad. Lazima uwe makini katika decimals na nini, hata fractions pia. Any slight deviation might affect your whole answer. So hapa ni 0.25. So if you subtract that one, you get how much? You subtract 41,883.35 minus 4,483.25, and it should give me, hapa niambia syntax error kali, 41,883.35 minus 4,483.25, giving me 37,400.1. So he subtracts, itakupa 37,400.1. So tushaelewana. So the tax in the third slab is just 37,400.1. So an amount is taxed at 30% to give you 37,400. So kupata hiyo x itabidi sasa 37,400.1 you multiply to the reciprocal of 30%, which is 100 over 30. Therefore x itakuwa ni ngapi? Times 100 divided by 30 ama divided by 30%, it gives you 124,667. 124,667. So hii ni taxable income in the third slab. What is your whole taxable income? Your whole taxable income will be given by 124,667 plus ile amount yote ambayo ziko katika first two slabs, ambayo most probably ukiona hapa ukichukua 24,000 plus 8,300 bado ni ile 32,333, because in the first two slabs uko na amount ya 32,333. So hiyo answer uliopata plus 32,333, ukiadd hizo amounts mbili, let's see how much it gives us. Itakupa 157,000. So hapa wewe jua tu hapa ni 157,000 shillings. But sasa swali hujaulizwa taxable income, umeulizwa basic salary. Na basic salary hapa kupata ni rahisi. Basic salary yetu ni taxable income minus all allowances. Ukichukua 157,000 minus allowances zote hapo, na allowances zote ukizi add up, let's say ume add up 25,000 plus 12,000 itakupa 37,000. Again, allowances zote ni 25 ya house na 12 ya commuter, which gives you a sum of 37,000. 25,000 plus 12,000 is your allowance, which is 37,000 shillings. So hizo allowances zote tushapewa kwenye swali, so usiogope. So minus 37,000 we subtract, angalia itatupa ngapi? Answer yetu itakuwa ni 120,000. So 120,000, in case you're not seeing here, your answer hapa is 120,000. Umeona? Swali rahisi, na bado maswali mawili ama matatu ambayo tutafaa tumalizie, tuendelee na hilo swali basi. So yeah, and kabla tujaendelea, don't forget to subscribe. Sije na unafunza bure tu hapa. Question 22, probability. A bag contains 5 balls randomly numbered 1 to 5. The balls are identical except for color. Question A, 2 balls are randomly drawn from the bag, one at a time, without replacement. Roman 1, draw a probability space to show all the possible pairs of numbers on the 2 balls drawn from the bag. Roman 2, find the probability that both the numbers on the balls drawn from the bag were greater than 3. And Roman 3, find the probability that the sum of the 2 numbers on the balls drawn does not exceed 6. Question B, 3 balls in the bag are green in color and the rest are red. Determine the probability that the 2 balls drawn in A were of the same color. Roman 2, of mixed color. I think this is the simplest probability question I've ever encountered. Now, let's draw the probability space. We've been told that there are 5 balls randomly numbered 1 to 5. So most probably is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But remember, be very keen whenever you answering such a question and don't be in a rush. So hapa uko na 1, hapa pia. Okay, ni kubwa sana. So I don't know how will it fit, but let's try and fit it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Sawa, na nyingine ni 1, 2, hapo 3, 4 and 5. So basically what we're doing is to draw the probability space diagram, which is this one. I'm not using a ruler to pass, but it's better to use a ruler. So kitu kama hii, probability space. Sawa, and I'm not a good drawer. Umeona tayari hata nimekosea katika kudraw, but all in all, sijasema mimi ndo Leonardo da Vinci. Sawa, so sija ukaona mimi ndo nimechora ile drawing ya ile ambayo yapatikana kule. So just bear with me. So yeah, again, not a good drawing, but all in all, we just bear. So ukiangalia 2 balls are randomly drawn from the bag. So ni 1 to 5. So si ati kwa kuna bag mbili with the different balls 1 to 5, just from one bag. So ukiona huwezi sema from the ball that you've drawn zote zaweza kwa 1. Doesn't make sense na itakuwa wrong. Sawa, kwa nini? Ni kwa sababu obviously wajua it doesn't, haigiani kabisa, huwezi pata 1 1 kwa sababu wenyewe kuna bola ambao ni imeandikwa 1. So once ushachukua hiyo 1, itakuwa kuna tena bola ambao iko na number 1 pale. So most probably let's start this with this, but if you want to you can try any. But 1 and 2 you have also 1,3. Naanza hapa nikienda hivi. So 1,4, then we have 1,5 that way. Again, there's no there is 2,1, but there's no 2,2. So tutaacha hapa. There's 2,3, 2,4, 2,5, 3,1, 3,2. Hakuna 3,3 vile nilivyosema, huwezi kuwa na ati yenyewe ukishachukua 3 tayari, hiyo 3 hakuna 3 ingine. So again, there's nothing here. 3,4 and 3,5. We have 4,1, we have 4,2, we have 4,3, but we don't have 4,4, but we have 4,5. Again, 5,1, 5,2, 5,3, 5,4, but we don't have 5,5. So 2 marks tayari ushazipata. Okay, so you can make, say, that way is just enough. So that's the probability space. Question Roman 2, find the probability that both the numbers on the balls from the bag were greater than 3. Now hapa is a very tricky question, kwa sababu mtu ambao ako na mbio mbio ataadi hizi mbili, atafu atasema okay, 1 plus 2, 3, not greater than 3. 1 plus 3, no. What is saying that the bags that you've drawn. So both the numbers on the board drawn were greater than 3. So the only probability of happening like that is if you get the first one having 4 and the second one 5, or the first one being 5 and the second one being 4. Hakuna probability ingine, because ukiona hapa 1,2, 1 is less than 3, pia 2, hizi pia zote ukipata 1,4, hata ile ambao kuna let's say 3,44, 3 ni less than 3 is not greater than 3, even though 4 is greater than 3, but 3 is not. All others as well. So 4,3, CG 5,3, utapata one of the numbers is less than 3. Na hapa swali imeuliza zote ziwe ni greater than 3. So the only probable chance is just for you getting 4 and 5 or 5 and 4. So probability ya kupata 4 and 5. Swali rahisi sana, sio? So let's look at all the probabilities, all the occurrences. Ukihesabu 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 hii, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So there are 20 occurrences. Sawa? 20 probable occurrences. So probability ya kupata 4 yenyewe kisha 5 is just 1 over 20. So it's 1 over 20. Probability ya kupata 5 kisha 4 ni 1 pia out of 20. So you just add those two. 1 over 20 plus 1 over 20, which is 2 over 20. If you simplify it, divide by 2, answer yako ni 1 over 10. Swali rahisi, sijaona swali ngumu kama hii. Swali rahisi kama hii. Roman 3, find the probability that the sum of the two numbers on the ball drawn does not exceed 6. So, the sum of the two numbers drawn. So, yamaanisha kuwa hii the sum yako x plus y should not exceed 6. It is either less or equal to 6. But you see Peter 6. So, in short, which are the two numbers? Yani, ukiona sum of those two numbers, I exceed 6. Mi nikiona hapa, let me use another different font. Nikiona ile ambao I exceed 6 na ni less than 6 so 1 2 being first, we add ya kwa 3, hii pia ni 6 hiyo obviously, this one, this one, but not the others, this one, 5 1, okay, 5 2 haiwezi, 5 3 haiwezi. So all in all ni hizo tu. So ni ngapi? Ni 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So those are 12 occurrences. So 1 2 3 4, kiona hizi zingine they are more than 6. So ni 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, 12 over 20. So if you simplify 12 over 20, itakupa 6 over 10. If you simplify bado, itakupa 3 over 5. So swali rahisi tena we. So let's go to question B. Now question B umeulizwa 3 balls in the bag are green in color and the rest are red. Determine the probability that the 2 balls drawn in A were of the same color. So wacha tuchore hii ka tree diagram. So there's a probability that the bag utaweza pata green ama red. So kuna 3 balls in the bag. The 3 balls are green over the total of 5, kwa sababu hapo umeambiwa 5 balls. Ukihesabu ni 5 balls. But from the previous question umeambiwa 5 balls. So kama ni 3 over 5 ni green, so yamaanisha ile remainder itakuwa ni 2. Sawa, zile mbili ambazo zimebakia are red. So but you've been told that umechukua 2 balls. Ukichukua 2 balls yamaanisha wafau branch tena ikupe kitu kama hivi. So hii ni green, this is red, again this is green, this is red. Now if you take out the first time, nothing will change, but the second time that you'll take out, many things will change. The denominator and the numerator might change depending on the nature of the first take. So let's say kama hii ni green, hii si ni green pia, so hapa chini itapungua, itakuwa over 4, hapa pia ni over 4, hapa ni over 4, because when you're taking the first time, the second time ukichukua itakuwa imepunguka na moja moja. So sababu ilikuwa ni 5 bags, ukachukua moja itabakia 4. So the probability of taking the first green is usually 3/5. But the second time that you take, it means that the fish is deficient of 1. Yani moja ya green imepunguka, therefore green itakuwa ni 2. For the red one, which is this one, haujachukua lolote, so ni ile ile tu ambao uko nao. So kama ni green, if the letters align, utapunguza juu na utapunguza chini. For the red one, just likewise, this and this align, so juu itapunguka, chini itapunguka, itakuwa 1/4. For the red and green, which is this, itakuwa 2, 3, lakini chini itapunguka. So basically this is 3/4. So umeambiwa the probability, find the probability that the two balls drawn in A were of the same color. So itakuwa B of the same color, it means that either it was green and green, or there's a probability that it was red and red. So it means that is 3/5 times 2/4. Tuelewane, ni hii na hii, so isije kwa wakorogeka. So it's this one and this one. Okay. The other one ni plus red and red. So most probably pia ni hii na hii. Red and red. So itakuwa ni 2/5 times 1/4. So which will give you how much? 3/5 times 2/4. 3/5 times 2/4 itakuwa 6/20. So itakuwa 6/20, which is like 3/10. So basically I'm just taking 3/10 plus 2/5 times 1/4, itakuwa 2/20. 2/5 times 1/4, yeah, 2/20, which is 1/10. So 3/10 plus 1/10 itakupa 4/10, which is just similar to 2/5. So ukitaka waweza andika 0.4, ni wewe. Now the second question umeambiwa of mixed colors. So mixed colors yamaanisha is either green, red, or ile ya kwanza iwe ni red then green. Sawa. So in which, let me use another different highlighter. So either ni green kisha red, ama ni hii ni red kisha green, kwa sababu ni different, ni mixture na hakuna kala yoyote mbili apart from red and green. So for the green and red is 3/5 times 2/4. So 3/5 times 2/4 plus for the red and green ni 2/5 times 3/4. So wacha tuone itatupa ngapi. 3/5 times 2/4, which is just a half. Itakuwa 3/10 for the first one. Na 2/5 times 3/4, 6/20, 3/10 pia. Maana hakuna kitu kingine, hakuna kitu ambayo yabadilika. So hapa itakupa 6/10. Ukisimplify yakupa 3/5. What happened? Yeah, 3/5. So basically that is your answer. So with that, let's continue with the next question. Question 24. Now let's try out this question. The following figure is a sketch of the curve whose equation is y equal to x squared minus 4x plus 3. The y-intercept of the curve is at y equal to 3, while the x-intercepts are at x equal to 1 and x equal to 3. The region bounded by the curve, the line y equal to 3, and the line x equal to 3 is shaded. So I think we need to find out what the answer to the shaded region is. Now, question A, Roman 1, evaluate the integral between 0 and 1 of x squared minus 4x plus 3. Okay, we need to evaluate that integral. First question. But whatever answer that you get, or for the first question, you'll just be getting the area of this region, which is here. So hopefully that is understandable. For the other one, Roman 2, calculate the area of the shaded region. Calculate the area of the shaded region above the x-axis. Above the x-axis, which is this one here, this whole thing. So you need to calculate for that part as well, not the hard single move. And last but not least, question B, calculate the area of the shaded region below the x-axis. No, the last question is this one. Calculate the area of the entire shaded region. So this one is for the shaded region below the x-axis, which, let me switch it off. Let's switch another one. This one supposed to be this way. We're calculating for this one here. Just leave the ones that are above. So it's just this part here. So let's calculate for each one of them. Let's start with question A, Roman 1. So for the first question, we're calculating for this region, which is here. So yeah, so that's the answer to the first question. So let's find it out. So integration, we integrate. So you need to integrate for this question, which is x squared minus 4x plus 3. So integral of this one should be, okay, should be something like this. So when you're integrating, obviously what you need to do is you add the power, and then whatever you got from adding the power, you divide it with that number. So basically you're taking 2 plus 1, divide by the answer that you got from 2 plus 1 is 3. And then you also integrate 4x, the power is 1. The power is 1. So 1 plus 1, which is 2, then divide by 2. So x power 2 divided by 2. Then the last one, since it doesn't have any letter, we just write the letter itself. If it's a number, so you just add the letter. Tamam. So something like this. So now if you integrate this one, it gives you x cubed divided by 3 minus 2x squared plus 3x. Now I'm not writing plus c. If you want, you can write plus c, but now the c cancels out because of this one and this one. So we don't need that c anymore. But if you want, but just know that the c cancels out at the end of the day. Now we need to integrate this one, right? Between the range of x equal to 0 and 1. So let's start with the 1. So where x is equal to 1, what will be your answer? So you substitute the x values with 1. So 1 cubed divided by 3 minus 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1. The c cancels out, so I don't need it here. Then minus, use the 0 now. So where there's x, you substitute with 0. 0 cubed divided by 3 minus 2 times 0 squared plus 3 times 0, which gives you, how much will it give you? So 1 cubed divided by 3, 1 divided by 3 minus 2 plus 3, it gives you 1.33, which is just 1 over 3. Minus it, obviously this one will give you 0. 0 divided by 3, 0, 0. Everything becomes 0. So at the end of the day, you minus it by 0. So your final answer will be 1 over 3 square units, because we're dealing with area. Or you can write as 1.33 square units. So both are correct answers. Whichever one you use, you get a tick for those answers. Now, Roman 2, calculate the area of the shaded region above the x-axis. Now, the shaded region basically is this one. The one that they telling us to calculate is this one here. Now, how do you calculate for this region? For you to calculate for this region, which is this one, tamam, for you to calculate the shaded part here, you need to calculate for the whole thing. The whole thing is this square part. So it looks like a square. Yeah, it is a square because the sides are 3 by 3. So you need to calculate for the whole thing, then minus it with this one. So you minus it with this one here, the one that we got in Roman 1. So yeah, it's not that hard. So this one is a square. So from here to here is basically 3 units. And when you're going up is also 3 units. So 3 minus 0, 3, and 3 minus 0 on the x-axis is also 3. So let's search the area of the square. So the shaded region is given by the square, the area of the square minus the one, the one which is at Roman 1. Yeah, minus the integral that we got in Roman 1. So the square is basically 3 times 3, then minus it with the integral, which go to be 1 over 3. So this one gives you 9 minus 1 over 3, or 9 minus 1.333. So 9 minus 1 over 3, 1 over 3 gives you 70 over 3 square units. So 70 over 3 square units, or 7.67. Now there's a trend which I want to say, and I did dislike it, the trend of 6-7. I don't know what type of trend is that, but let's avoid it as students. Now that's one thing. Am I correct? Yes, I am. So what I did, I took the square and minus it with the one which I got in Roman 1. So let's continue from there. Is it 3 times 3? Yeah, totally 3 times 3, which is 9. Now for the last question, you've been told, not the last, calculate the area of the shaded region below the x-axis. The area of the shaded region below the x-axis, which is supposed to be here. So this one here. So also you find the integral from 1 to 3. So it's not that hard. So again, 3 and 1. So you know that again we do 3 and 1, x squared minus 4x plus 3 dx. So we're doing the same thing, but let me confirm with the question. Yeah, minus 4x plus 3. So, but remember, the answer that you get will be negative, but you'll ignore the negative part. So if you integrate this one, we say we'll get something like this. We get x cubed over 3 minus 2x squared plus 3x. So we just substitute once again. So where there's x, you substitute it with 3 cubed, divide by 3 minus 2 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3. And then you'll also subtract it from another number. So let me say here, because it didn't tosha, haikutosha nafasi, that's why I'm punguza ring. So yeah, so you do just like we said, 3 cubed divided by 3 minus 2 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3 itakupa ile ya 3 minus tuende kwa ya 2, tuende kwa ya 1. So tutafanya 1 cube divide by 3 minus 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1. So kila answer itakupa, kila moja yao itakupa a different answer. So 3 cubed divided by 3 minus 2 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3, which is 9. So it gives you 0. Am I correct? 3 cubed divided by 3 minus 2 times 3 squared plus 3 times 3 gives me 9. It gives me 0. So yote ni 0. For minus, then let's search for the other one. So 1 cubed, 1 divided by 3 minus 2 plus 2 times 1 squared plus 3 times 1. It gives me 1.333, which is just same as saying 1113. So obviously, hapa itakupa 0 minus, gives you negative. But remember, for squares, we usually don't have negatives. Therefore, we ignore the negative part. And the answer should be 1/3 square units. So again, not that hard. And therefore, that is your answer. So now let's go to question C. Calculate the area of the entire shaded region. Now the area of the entire shaded region is when you take this one, add to this one. So 72/3. That's why it's 2 marks. So you take 72/3 square units, add to 1/3 square units, which gives you 9 square units. So again, the reason why I added is just this. If you get this, the bottom one, you add with the top one. So and that one is your whole shaded region. So yeah, now again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And like usual, just like I said, for those who are willing to join my tuition classes, it's just not me, but I'm also with the teacher. So you'll be studying a lot of things for Form 3 and Form 4. So don't forget to subscribe. Tuition classes are still on, and it will be a lengthy holiday. So if you want to excel in your Form 3 or Form 4 classes, reach out to me. Yeah, reach out to me. Especially we have a teacher from Bahari Girls Secondary School teaching certain subjects. So please don't waste time. Enter our tuition program. Register through me. If you want to register, just text me and I'll guide you on how to register for the tuition program. So yeah, so don't forget again to subscribe, and we'll meet up in the other lessons. So if you forget to subscribe, that means you'll miss out other lessons. So ndio nothing after sina maneno mengi. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.